I really need to clean this camera forward. Sorry, I really need to clean this camera for all of you. I'm in a little bit of pain. I've been at the boat and managing my mental health, my physical health, and just working to a time. How would you say? When you work to a certain time, like my brain's gone dead. Basically, I've just had an accident, and yesterday, I'll explain why the accident's important. But yesterday, my pain, the physical pain that I suffer, came back, and I essentially had a breakdown. I literally broke down, as anybody would in their life, but because it happens for me near enough every other day, it's not so much of a big thing. But pain was the reason. I was prepared to just walk away from the boat and just leave here and never come back. And the day's work was ended very abruptly, and the pressure I'm facing with time, I've not been really in too many situations of the recent year, because my mental health has been so bad, where I've worked to a time. It's not a time limit. It's like, but that's, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm working to a time limit, because I'm only here for a week, and there's so much to do on the boat and to take advantage of whilst I'm here in the boatyard. And on top of that, I've got all my mental health problems and all my stresses of life and everything else. And when the pain came yesterday, and it was like I'm not going to be able to get it done as I need to, and on top of the way my mental health has been antagonising me of late, it was just too much to take. But I got home. I took myself home after trying for about 4 hours to continue with the work. I took myself home, and once I managed to assess the situation, I just realised I don't have a choice, basically. I'm homeless if I don't, and my life is only going to get harder. So just suck it up, come back and continue. And if I find myself homeless because the boat is too much for me in a month, 2 months, then 2 months, then so be it. It will happen that way. And for 2 months, it would be a delay to me being homeless. So that's where I'm at. And I had a little accident just now after holding my breath to the physical discomforts again today. And then I had an accident. It was like my intent to just attracted it, law of attraction, because in a way I was in so much discomfort from my physical pain. The weirdest thing, it's like, and this is part of why I self-harmed in the past. And there's a real thing about pain threshold barrier. And I had an accident. I hit my hand on a nail, and the pain, it shot through my system, and I had to focus on the pain. But because the pain was being received in a different way to the pain that I'm normally experiencing, that professionals are all too happy to label as my mental health, they sort of combined, and it wasn't pleasant. It was like the world had ended. But I managed to keep focused with the pain. I focused on distraction, and I found myself in a better place. So yeah, the pain threshold barrier is something, and I think that's where in my viewpoint, spirituality manipulates it. And when I say reference spirituality, you put whatever, you look at it however you want. Some sort of demonic force, some sort of angel, some sort of guardian angel. Maybe it's just a energy. But either way, spirituality manipulates that pain threshold barrier. And by doing that, it can control us. And I think my want for control is why in the past I might have instigated self-harm to really feel the pain, to regain control of my life, because ultimately, looking at my life since then, since I've learnt my lesson with self-harm, it's unpleasant in a different way. And to put it bluntly, and it might be hard for some of you to hear, but in a way, a quick whack round the head, or however somebody might self-harm, it's far more practical if you're aware of the situation to get yourself out of it than to dance about the pain like I am at present. But there's no way I'm going to go back to that, and this is the way forward. And this is why I said tattooing. When I was experiencing these problems before, and I began to tattoo myself, it was actually quite healing. The pain, it was like instigating a little bit of pain into on my own accord, not to self-harm, but actual pain to myself, where my brain focuses on pain. It really did calm me down. But what healthcare professional is going to believe that, hey? Not when there's medication that doesn't do any harm other than side effects. It's a bit of a messed up situation, but this video is just in addition to help me to distract myself from the situation, my circumstance, the unpleasantness of where I've been with my mental health, and to give myself a bit of breathing space to get back to work. But it's the weirdest thing, because it's a relief now to feel this new pain in my body. Now it's calmed down. So the initial sensation of whacking my finger on a nail was very painful, and it wasn't pleasant at all. It wasn't something I would have wished to experience. But now it's calmed down, feeling and accepting this new pain, where it's the initial unpleasantness has passed. This sensation now is keeping my mind focused from the other pain that I experience. So this is Andreas Dimitriou expressing some very hard to hear truths about self-harm, about pain, that society doesn't understand yet on a whole. And I'm experiencing my mental health problems firsthand. I also have I also have a grounding in Qigong, so energy work, and essentially that's, when you, Qigong, for those that don't know it, imagine when you hit your hand on a nail, or you hit your hand with a hammer and it hurts. That tensing process to hold on, to deal with the pain. So bang, I've just hit myself. Oh! That process is essentially Qigong. But with Qigong, you're doing it with mental application. You're doing it in an applied process to a system without obviously the initial hitting yourself. And that's essentially Qigong, and I have a grounding in that. My uncle has taught me well in that, and I apply it as much as I can in my life. So I have a good grounding in understanding of pain. Also, I'm very sensitive with my energy work. So the elements of pain that overlap into energy, I believe, through my sensitivity to energy, because I'm very, very sensitive to energy, I have a good grounding in that element too, if nothing more than to be able to feel it as much as possible. So this is exploratory work, putting it something that possibly hasn't ever been verbalized before into language that people can understand. And maybe if I burst the conscious bubble by expressing it this way, by understanding it this way, others might begin to experience it and comprehend it in the same way, like the 100 monkey effect, if it's true, whereby you can just tune into what others have already experienced, in other words. And our dependency upon chemicals, drugs, to our ignorance can reduce. And maybe in the future, when we get a pandemic like the coronavirus 29 instead of 19, the treatment will be, right guys, no self-isolation, no vaccines that are just madness, no lockdowns, but weekly Qigong classes for everybody in the park, because we understand what's going on with our physical bodies now, and we know we don't need to inject ourselves with chemicals so a massive corporation can earn trillions and trillions of pounds. We can deal with it with ourselves because we actually understand it. So I'm checking out. This is Andreas Demetriou doing his bit for Coronavirus 29.